Hello everybody, welcome back to On The Air. I'm Christian Malone and we are here on our final episode of the Southern Legacy Conversations. So, we are joined today with Morgan Houston.
My name is Morgan Houston. I'm a junior studying athletic training and hoping to go to PA school.
Hello Morgan.
Hi.
Doing alright today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine or good?
I'm good. Good. I say I'm good.
Alright, we'll take it. So where are you from?
I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So, how religious was... Tuscaloosa is Tuscaloosa County, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how religious was Tuscaloosa County?
I don't know if Tuscaloosa County was ever like religious as like a whole, but I would say that, you know, they most definitely always respected, you know, like pastors, like what they do, like churches and things like that. Like when they would come out into the community, it was always like a respectful thing.
Okay, because I know I'm from North Alabama, and so it's a church on every corner. Anywhere you turn, there's a church. There's always somewhere. If you just want to, you know, pull from a hat and find a church, it's somewhere.
I was gonna say it's most definitely a lot of churches available. So as far as that, it's very heavily populated.
Like things kind of moved around church. Like they wouldn't have sports practices past a certain time on Wednesdays, so people have Bible class. Yeah. So I think the South as a whole, being in the Bible Belt, is just churchy everywhere. Yeah. So, did you grow up in church?
Absolutely. My dad's a pastor, so I'm definitely.
Your dad's a pastor, so you was in it.
I was in it. I was in there.
So, how did that impact your upbringing?
Well, like you just said, you know, I was in church every Sunday, every Wednesday for the most part. It most definitely had a big role because it essentially, you know, taught me wrong, right, good, bad, you know, how I should act, how I should behave, and not even in a like controlling way. It's just like I saw like just kind of the positive and like the negative kind of contrast between like, you know, kind of living this lifestyle versus living another lifestyle. If that makes sense.
Do you feel like because of your upbringing that you missed out on anything?
When I was growing up, I did feel like, you know, I was like, oh, I can't do this, I can't go there, blah blah blah. But in retrospect, I would most definitely say I wasn't missing out. I'm glad that I wasn't always able to, you know, go here and go there and do everything that my friends were doing because, you know, a lot of stuff, it wasn't necessarily bad things, but it was just, it wouldn't have been anything constructive or anything that was adding to my life beneficially. And so, like I said, when I was younger, I would say that I was missing out, but in retrospect, I didn't miss out on anything.
I think I'm kind of the opposite because I grew up in church, and so then because it was so many of us that were around the same age, and so we kind of just kind of moved around each other. And so looking back, I was like, I didn't go to this, I didn't do that. I just kind of, you know, went with what I was supposed to do. Yeah. I don't feel like I missed anything, but looking in the moment, I felt like I was like, well, I don't have to go to that. So I feel like I was kind of blindsided in a way to not even see that as an opportunity for me to do certain things, but. In the end, it all worked out. Right. We here.
Right, we here. It's good. We here.
If I would do what I wanted to do, I would have been dead on several occasions.
Right. I was gonna say I don't know if I'd be dead, but probably I want to be here. Let's just say I want to be here.
If you ever roll with me, is anybody out there ever roll with me? You know that you just gotta hope for the best and hope we get there safely because it just be up in the air if we're gonna make it. But the Lord, He gonna keep us.
He gonna keep us.
So how different is Southern? Because it's a category. How different is Southern Black church from any church or other religion out there?
That is a great question, and like it's kind of weird. My dad's a pastor, but like I wouldn't say I necessarily grew up in a traditional like Black Southern church or whatever, but because he like sometimes went around and like spoke, I've experienced it. And then, you know, if I went back home where my mom was from, she was more in like a traditional Black Southern church, and so I was like, it's very structured, very structured, very serious, but not in a like, I wouldn't say in like a scary way or anything, but it's like, you know, most of the people in there, they were dedicated, they were going to do their job, they were going to do it right, and they were going to do it well. And it's like you don't necessarily see that like, I guess what's the word, not Protestant, it's another word that I'm looking for, non-denominational. You don't necessarily see that in a traditional non-denominational church, that like that structure and that seriousness.
I think it's so weird. Like it kind of shook me up because I grew up churchy, like it was like a thing. And so when I came to college, finding a church, I went to a few churches and was kind of, you know, trying to feel them out. I had went to this one church and I went to the church. and me and my friends have went, and it was just so different. And I think it's kind of changing now with music when it comes to church. Black church is very loose, very freeing, very uplifting. I think it's kind of changing to other cultures as well, and different denominations. People are starting to get that
freedom.
Feel that freedom, yeah. But like, I think one thing with the black church is some things you have to, when it comes to worship, you have to, there's a small box with things you can do. Like, it's other churches that I've visited, and they will have people like just like on their knees worshiping, hands up, and you kind of stand there like, well, for me, I know I was kind of standing like, y'all do this here?
Yeah.
I didn't know we could do that. Yeah. So I think it's just amazing to see the different cultures that people have created around church and around God, and yet the majority of the time they're all worshiping the same God.
Right.
All right. So it seems like today so many people in our age group don't enjoy or see the need for God or for church or believing in God at all. So why do you think that is?
I think that it has a lot to do with self, and also I know like this wasn't my experience growing up, but a lot of black kids, you know, it was more of a force going to church. And so, you know, when they got that freedom to not go to church or, you know, choose what they wanted to do, they chose not to. And they never really got the experience like God and church for themselves. So like you said, it's different types of churches out there. You know, you don't always have to go to grandma church down the street. It's the churches like they have the pastor on the screen. It's the churches that, you know, you can be on your knees worshiping, and it's like, it's just different experiences. And I think a lot of young people never really took the time themselves to experience church and experience their relationship with God themselves. And so that's why a lot of people just kind of come away from it.
Stray away, is that what you say?
Yeah, stray away.
So how important is God to you in your personal life?
Let me just say, like, without God, I would be in these streets. Like, I'm not even gonna cap. Like I've had this conversation with my parents. It's like, you know, we didn't have God. Like, woo, woo, we be
and
out
folks,
there.
We grew up with people saying that, like, if I didn't have God, I'd just be
right. I thought, I'm like,
you know, it just seemed like that's just a far stretch. But like when you get to growing up,
right, you be like, okay, I see what y'all was saying then, because.
Like, it's kind of, sometimes it kind of scares me. Yeah. Like how much I need him. Because I need him for everything. Right. It took me a while to really realize that. Because once I found a relationship with him for myself, outside of the building, outside of family, outside of all of that, he's real. He's very real. And it's almost kind of scary at times, because he just does stuff. Because for years growing up, we put him in this box, and the box is probably not even this big of things he can do. Right. I believe that God is God. Right. Either he's God or he's not. Right. Either he can make the world or he didn't. Right. Either he can heal people or he can't. Right. That's how I view it. And so I think when we see him for who he is, as much as we can, of course, we can't ever fully see him. That's when we truly start to build a relationship. So it's not always going to be answered the way you want to answer. Right. And I think that's another thing that makes a lot of people kind of come away from it. It's like, he's never going to do nothing to put you in a bad situation. He's never going to do anything to that's going to leave you worse than what you were.